All right, everyone, and welcome back to another Dragon Ball Legends video. And for this one, we are talking about something that I have wanted to see for a long time and that I have pitched as an idea for a long time, too. We are talking about the idea of fusions and how, with some recent effects and stuff, they can actually get it done. So I hope you guys enjoy today's video. If you do, hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Today's video like goal is going to be 650. And I'm a little out of breath. I was just playing with my daughter. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just ran in here so I could get away from her real quick while she didn't notice. I'm like out of breath. So fusion mechanic, is that actually a thing that they can do in this game? Yeah, I think so. I really do think that we have the ability to see those characters eventually in the game. Now, here's the caveat. I have no idea to what extent it'll be. For example, I mean, technically, this guy starts off as Goku and Vegeta, right? I mean, technically, when his intro animation plays, when you lead with him and, you know, you see that ultra, not the card art, but the actual battle animation where Goku and Vegeta do the fusion, I mean, technically, right? But they're not, alas, they're not actually Goku and Vegeta. It's just a Gogeta character. Now, that's one version of them trying to show us something like that, but that's not exactly what I'm talking about. I think that there's strides that they've taken with some of the effects that they've introduced. I have another video coming up where I talk about all the litany of effects that Legends has been putting out over the last couple of years, and trust me, they have been cooking with original effects. Stuff like Hit's time skip, or this guy drawing the ultimates that he draws as the first character to do that. They have been cooking. I mean, when Tapion popped up, not just this guy, but Tapion popped up, like, they have been cooking. So stay tuned for that video. But I think with some recent stuff, they can do it. So what am I proposing? Let's take a look at this. So I think that there's multiple avenues, like I said, that they can introduce a mechanic that at least plays, at least shows us a goddamn fusion. So what they could do for a first proposition is something akin to this. Ride with me for a minute here. Let's say you guys are the devs and you wanted to remake this character for the Buu Saga, not for the Buu Saga, excuse me, for the Fusion Reborn movie. Fusion Reborn movie. I'm like, bro, what am I saying? So Fusion Reborn. You can actually make Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta again, right? And it's a tag character, I guess, or assist works too, but mainly just tag. But for the discussion point of the video, the stuff could work with an assist character, but it seems like they've left those characters. Anyway, you remake this character. It's these forms. It can even be other forms of these characters. Who cares? It's just these characters from that movie. And you say, okay, let's remake them with a preparation mechanic as well. And you know how ultimately after a few tag switches, the preparation plays, and you have Goku back there charging his Kamehameha, you have to fight with Vegeta. You could just simply do something akin to the Gammas, where once you hit that peak, an animation plays that doesn't require you to leave a character out there, like how, you know, this character's like, oh yeah, we're gonna leave Vegeta in so Goku can charge up and charge up and charge up. So anyway, you know, you can just kind of play an animation akin to like the Core Breaker, where it's like, okay, yeah, so at that point the character's gonna fuse, and you know, they either do a finishing blow. Well, I guess that's where you would separate it, because if they don't do a finishing blow, it would need a separate animation, unless they're gonna let you play as Gogeta. Because what I'm saying is, preparation mechanic into Goku and Vegeta doing the fusion dance, and they go Gogeta, right? Again, it's from Fusion Reborn. They go Gogeta, and then Gogeta pops in and does his Soul Punisher. That would actually need to be the LF. Because if he isn't doing it, unless they're planning on letting you play as Gogeta, it'd be really weird to see, oh, it didn't kill, so now I'm back to being Goku and Vegeta. So that would be really funny. So that would have to be the LF. But maybe what they would do is it's just a regular preparation mechanic or something like that. Like, I guess let's just strip this characters, or they do a Kamehameha if you don't get the LF. But if you do get the LF, it turns into a whole different one, right? You know how all the LF animations, there's a cut version and then there's the actual LF one, right? There's always an extension on it if you wind up getting the LF, because it plays a different clip. So anyway, they could do that with this character, and it would be technically a fusion. Now, let's take we're going to still kind of use that baseline. Let's take a more desirable approach and say, okay, well, I want to play with the character. And I think that the first thing to mention is, again, tag / any duo character, but tag mechanic was the first step, I think, in making this happen. I think people really need to understand one thing in particular. My idea is not really any different conceptually. I'm sure that it is a little different for the designers of the game, the devs. It's not any different conceptually than a character transformation. My next idea, whether it's a tag character or what have you, again, I gotta keep throwing the disclaimer out. Actually, this idea would work better with an assist character, for the record. But anyway, this next idea is no different than a transformation. Think about transformations. What happens when you transform? You click the main ability and the character transforms. Mind blown, right? So ultimately what happens is, as you see, this is an entirely different character, as you know, right? Maz Vegeta is totally different than just base Vegeta. They have to put in a whole different model for that character, all these different things, the whole 9 yards. So really, what's to say they can't just say, okay, here's my Goku, we click his main ability, he then, quote unquote, transforms into Vegito. That sounds really simple. Like, honestly, if I'm being honest, I don't know why they haven't done that already. I'm sure there's something on the back end that they have to code to make it work, but it still sounds super simple, like it would make buku money that they should just do. Dude, I haven't said buku since I was like 12. Anyway, they should do it. Now, again, that point works better with the assist character because tag characters do not have a main ability, technically. You click the same spot, but that's just to tag, right? Now, you could do that. You could, say after you do 3 tag switches, have them transform. You could do that. It works, right? It's the same concept. It's just a transformation. There's like a few dozen characters in the game that transform. I don't see how it would be any different or work much differently than that. And that's something that, like I said, I'm surprised they haven't actually done yet because it seems super duper simple to me. Like, so to recap, we have animation only ones like Ultra Gogeta where he plays like that. By the way, is there an animation for an LF? There's like no like LF fusion effect, right? Maybe if like we got a Goten and Trunks like assist / tag character, which by the way, it's hilarious we don't have one of those yet. They're just one of the most iconic duos in the whole series. Anyway, so if we got something like that as part of their animation for an LF, they would turn into Gotenks. It's not really any different than like Ape Vegeta when he gets his LF popping in the giant ape because yeah, right? It's the same concept. So anyway, we don't really have that, but we do have the animation that plays with characters like Gogeta, where it's like technically, but not really, right? Because it's still just a Gogeta character. It starts off as and ends as. We could have a preparation mechanic where you don't actually use the character. It just plays that way. You can also technically, by extension, with that same discussion point, have a preparation mechanic that does let you finish off playing with the character. And we'll talk about that in a second, but there's also another version that I just mentioned, which is the main ability version, which again could work with multiple tags or even one tag if you wanted to limit it to one tag and then you just instantly transform, or an assist character, which would be the resurrection of them because they haven't done one in like almost 2 years, right? Anyway, where you click the main ability and the characters just transform. You know how assist characters are tagged? Think of Goku Black and Zamasu. How when you click their like green card, Zamasu friggin' drops in and they do their little dance, right? They do shake a little tail feather. They shake a tail feather. You could have them just do that. Like, we already have dummy long animations. Who cares? Like, just make it happen. You know how long it feels like this animation is? It plays like forever. I swear on everything I love. It's the only non-LF animation in the entire game, this animation, that makes me say, God dang, that's a long animation. Because when you think this animation's done, it zooms out and keeps going. God damn that. So, like, make them do a quick, maybe just make it a cut in where they go, ha, instead of the fusion. They just go, ha, and then just boom. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can do stuff like that. Like, I don't know what, bro, I'm not a freaking genius. Why has this stuff not happened? This is it sounds so trivial and simple to me. Maybe there's something going on the back end with licensing that restricts them. You'd be surprised how many things that like Toei and Shueisha, the actual shareholders for the IP, restrict like Bandai from being able to do. Like, you know what I'm saying. Can't really elaborate too much, but they don't let them do whatever they want to do. But that just seems so trivial to me. So anyway, imagine just run with me on this one. I've talked a lot about Gogeta. It's because just Gogeta's been easier to kind of explain. But imagine that, like, with Super Vegito, Does Super Vegito's animation play them fusing? His intro animation? I don't recall. I don't recall it. I don't think it does. Anyway, imagine with him, there's a version of these guys from the Buu Saga, right? And it's just them right there when Goku first pops up. And, oh, you know what they could do? They could have him throw Gohan the earring and, like, miss him, be like, oh, no, and then Vegeta's right there and give it to me, Kakarot. And then they just fuse right there. It doesn't have to be completely accurate, but they could do this in all under, like, 8 seconds. Just make it freaking work. Make it work. Imagine Vegito popping in right there. That would be insane. So then the question really becomes, what would the transformed character's kit be? And I'm here to remind you that, once again, the fusion character, is not really any different than a transformed character. It's also not really any different than a tag switch character. We already this is what makes it funny. We already have 2 characters in one. Like, technically that would be 3 in 1, but like, so what? So what? Maybe that's the limit on tag characters, actually. Maybe that's the limit. Maybe that's what hinders them with actually making like a Gogeta or Vegito playable, for example, is you'd have these 2 characters with their individual kits, and then you'd have a 3rd character. I'd click this button a 3rd time, and then the fusion will pop up, right? Maybe that's what limits them, because already in game, you have to flip through each character and read their kits. Imagine if you're having to read a 3rd kit. Imagine having. This is why actually assist shouldn't be done. This works. This idea just works far better with an assist character. These ideas work way better with assists, which also again proves my point. They should have just done this forever ago. Assist characters just work better. Is this the last assist character? I don't know. It's either this character or Goku Black. All right, so we are going to conclude today's video. What do you guys think? Like I said in the beginning, I think we've taken strides. Nonetheless, whether it's better with assist or with tag, we've taken strides in different ways they can implement it with unique gauges and unique gauge effects like preparation mechanics and stuff, and ways that they can implement it and show it to us, even if we don't have to have it playable. I'd like to be playable, but if it's not able to be worked to be playable, at least make it as part of something you see as part of the animation, because like I said, a preparation finisher with Gogeta's Soul Buster or Punisher would be crazy, man. It would be pretty crazy. So hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you all in the next one, and stay tuned for those other videos. Also, scan that QR code before you go.